All right, so we're going to move on to Marvel Ultimate Alliance and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. Here's a little fun fact. I'm a huge Marvel comic fan, but I've actually never played these games on the PlayStation 3 or Xbox or anything like that. I actually played these on PlayStation 2. So essentially, this is kind of my first time playing it with really nice graphics, because if you played the PlayStation 2 versions, they're kind of more in tune with, I guess, X-Men Legends. And so they have this like sort of weird look to the graphics. They almost look like dough, like little dough boys. So what I like about Marvel Ultimate Alliance is that it's sort of this weird like kind of pastiche of role playing and beat 'em up. Many ways it's very similar to like a DC Online or even a Neverwinter, just not as like detailed in terms of like creating character and such. So like if you don't know, Marvel Ultimate Alliance is about just selecting a superhero from the Marvel Universe and battling Doctor Doom and his team of Masters of Evil. It's not in continuity with anything because you have like Thor in his ultimate like Marvel Ultimates form. You have like Iron Man in his sort of extremis armor. You have Spider-Man in his classic look. It's if you're looking for continuity here, it's really not there. It's kind of it's just its own thing. You can actually select up to 3 other heroes to sort of assist you. They're kind of like your companions, or other players can assume those character roles. And it's almost like a I don't know, gauntlet style where you're just kind of like fighting hordes and hordes of enemies, and it's just for some reason it's just really fun to play it. And like sometimes if you like get the right combination of heroes, for example, you select everyone from the Fantastic Four because you can be at least 4 superheroes at one time, you'll get some kind of team bonus. Like there's obvious ones like you can grab all Avengers or grab all X-Men, and you'll get like that team bonus of defense or strike. But then there are other cases where if you grab all the smart guys or grab all the martial artists, grab all the heavy hitters, you'll get different kinds of bonuses. And overall, it's not a great story, but it's a pretty good story. I mean, it gets the job done because this isn't rocket science. You don't need to make this Gone Home. You can just make it like I said, this is like geared towards people who like watch the superhero movies and want to see the big huge action sequences. So what are your thoughts on Ultimate Alliance?
I actually played them when they first came out on PS2, and I actually really enjoyed them. Like you were saying, they essentially based them off. They were just sequels to, or they based them off of the X-Men Legend games, which were actually really fun. I remember enjoying Ultimate Alliance 1, but I remember it being a bit too long and the story being a bit convoluted. Like, why do I keep going back here? Why do I go here? Why am I going here? But for the most part, they were fun. They were fun, enjoyable. Distractions. It was nice to get together with people and beat things up and pick your favorite hero. Some of the cutscenes were cool, especially seeing Doctor Doom take out essentially everyone when he gets a spoiler alert for a game that came out years ago that got remastered. Spoiler alert, he steals Odin's power and he ends up like in the cutscene, I think he ends up killing a few heroes or I think he like tears off Colossus's arm and like he almost kills Cyclops, and it's weird. It's very odd, but it's also pretty fun to watch. Yeah, Chucking Dice is calling me a masochist. I'm a superhero masochist, okay? Overall they're fun, but they can be a slog if you play solo. But for the most part, I do like things like Chucking Dice was saying, the bonuses and seeing your favorite heroes. You're playing it now. I mean, is there anything you don't like?
If you do play solo, yeah, you're going to be playing for a long time. One of the things that I don't, I guess like this is kind of like, you kind of have to have it, but if your hero gets like put out of action, you have like 5 minutes to wait to use that hero again. And it kind of like sucks sometimes when you're fighting a villain, you fight your way through a legion of like minions and like, and foes, and then you finally get to the boss. And for whatever reason, like, the boss is like just like having his way with you, and like you're actually almost got the boss to the brink. If that hero dies, he will not get any of the experience bonuses if the other heroes beat them. That gets kind of irritating after a while. I mean, you could just put it on an easier difficulty, but then like the game stops becoming a challenge, so it's like sort of double-edged sword right there. I wish there was a little bit better like sort of like in terms of the first game when you're fighting with two different heroes, say like Iron Man is fighting with Wolverine. If you attack a person at the same time, you'll get this weird like bonus of like how you co-op attack, but it doesn't actually show it like in terms of a cinematic level. It's just you happen to punch the same enemy at the same time as your partner. They fixed that in Ultimate Alliance 2, where they created these sort of super attacks where Wolverine will lift up his claws, Iron Man will shoot at his claws, and then like his repulsor blast will reflect from his claws and hit all the enemies around them. It kind of reminds me of that scene from Avengers when Iron Man does the same thing with Captain America's shield. The roster I feel okay with, although I kind of question some of the people they include. I guess that's sort of to include the people who do happen to like a superhero like Ghost Rider or Moon Knight. I mean, those are weird heroes to kind of include. Like the Hulk is actually not in the first Ultimate Alliance. Yeah, strange enough. Like you have the Thing. I like the Hulk. You have the Thing. You have Thor. You have like Colossus. But again, no Hulk. Bruce Banner is actually a non-playing character, so you can actually go talk to him and such.
They might not have had the Hulk in there because he might have been too powerful, and that might break the game mechanics.
You know what? You would be right, but they included the Silver Surfer, and Silver Surfer is like one of the few superheroes who could beat the Hulk. So I mean, they included him, and like I love the one thing I do really enjoy is the alternate costumes and how sometimes they have different effects. But the one I don't like is the Silver Surfer, because there's no such thing as an alternate costume for Silver Surfer, because he's just a Silver Surfer. He doesn't have alternate costume. They maybe should have like made Norrin Rad, which is like sort of his like not human identity, but Zenlavian identity, like his alien identity from like a planet without the powers. Even the Thing has a different shirt on, but for whatever reason, Silver Surfer is just the Silver Surfer. But again, yeah, I mean, those are very small gripes. I actually do really enjoy this game, and I can actually play it solo at times. It just, after a while, it does kind of get boring after you're fighting, an army over and over and over again. I do wish there was a little bit more dialogue between different, heroes and villains. That's always fun, because if you have the right hero, they'll actually have a tete between the villain. For example, if Crimson Dynamo was there and Iron Man was there, they would actually talk to each other. But if they weren't there, then like they wouldn't talk. The missions are kind of fun too. I just wish they were a little shorter sometimes. The sort of side missions that you can play. But I don't know. I don't really have too many gripes besides the ones that you mentioned.
I think in Civil War, I think in the second one, Ultimate Alliance 2, there's some villains you can play as. I know a few people. I was excited I forgot that Magneto was actually in the second Ultimate Alliance, which is, I always liked Magneto. As somebody who's a comic fan, how do you like all the references?
I dig them a lot, just because it's just these little details like, oh, no one really would know about this like little bit of dialogue that they mention, except for a comic fan. One of the things I really enjoy, though, that there's different ways you can earn experience. Obviously, beating up like 9 million guys will always earn you, experience. But there's these little stations everywhere, and they have quizzes on them, and like it's like questions from the entire history of the Marvel Universe up to that point, which roughly 2006? Yeah, 2006-ish. Some of the newer questions are a little bit more difficult because, I haven't read recent issues of Deadpool and such, or at least, to this, like, I guess now it's like 10 years old. But a lot of the questions I just kind of know just because of my, long-running history of, like, reading Marvel comics. And it's kind of cool that you're earning these, like, points just for comic book knowledge alone. Now, you actually, I believe if you ask around and talk to NPCs about their history, you'll learn that like Wyatt Wingfoot was Kiwazi, like part of the Kiwazi Indian tribe, and that's actually one of the questions that you encounter. But if you kind of just know comic books, you can just get through that entire thing like really fast. With that being said, I would actually enjoy seeing maybe a third game come out, and who knows? I don't know what it could be about. Maybe Secret Wars or like Infinity Gauntlet. Since we have Infinity War coming up. Yeah, I mean, or it could be really cool to see like a I guess MMORPG. Not like I would rather see a co-op game rather than MMORPG, because it kind of gears itself from co-op then MMORPG. I don't know how you would feel about that, but I did play another Marvel game that was an MMORPG called Marvel Heroes. I didn't like it at all. It was very boring to play, and like the only heroes you can pick naturally, you probably want to gravitate towards them, but are the Marvel superheroes. You couldn't create your own character, which was fine to me. It's like, I just want to be Iron Man, but Iron Man cost $20, so I paid the $20 to be Iron Man. And then, like, when I got in there, everyone was picking up all the free heroes, so I was fighting alongside 6 Things, 12 Daredevils, 3 Storms. Like, it was ridiculous. And then we were all fighting one villain, and like, this villain had no chance. It's like we were fighting Claw, and Claw was getting his ass kicked by 36 heroes, 10 of them being Thing, and then 1 Iron Man.
I would agree with you. I would like it to be just like this was. Maybe not as not as long or convoluted. But these are actually really fun games. Would be nice would be, I was actually always a fan of maybe even making it like the what was the beat 'em up Marvel Superheroes War of the Gems. They had the arcade version, but then if you bought the Super Nintendo version was much more akin to the Final Fight, where it was a beat 'em up, and that was actually really cool. So I kind of wouldn't mind seeing one of those. I think they should maybe bring back brawlers like the X-Men games and the Avenger games, Dungeons and Dragons. They should bring those back. But it would be cool. Yeah, or Simpsons. It would actually, like I said, I think it'd be cool if they made one of these top-down RPG games for the Infinity Gauntlet. Especially now. I mean, I wouldn't doubt that they do it, because especially if Infinity War is going to come out soon. But yeah, overall these are pretty enjoyable. Yeah, definitely if you have friends who like playing these games, who like co-op, this is definitely a good co-op game to play. And this version has online co-op, but also has local co-op, I'm pretty sure, right? It has local co-op. So hopefully.
All right, so that's episode 6. We hope you enjoyed, hearing us talk about a lot of stuff. As usual, please subscribe, comment, and give a thumbs up. We really appreciate your viewership and listening to our podcasts. If you have any questions, just put them down in the comments, and we'll probably address them, because usually no one leaves anything in terms of comments. Little shout out for Vic Rules 666. He's the man. Thank you for listening to all our podcasts, and actually even listening on our streams as well. So maybe, if you guys are viewers, you want to shout out, just let us know, and we'll give you a shout out in the next podcast.
And yeah, just to reiterate, thanks for listening. And if you guys have any suggestions you'd like to give us regarding content, any tabletop RPGs you want us to check out, or any video games, or if you guys just want to actually maybe get together and play online co-op games, anything you guys suggest, we're always up for it. Now that we got our streaming down, we're definitely going to try to stream a bit more gameplay. So again, thanks for listening.